Okay, moving on. We are done with the work session on crabbing. Now we will go to the call to order. Commissioner Buckwald is absent. Are there any additional public comments other than crabbing? John?
Maybe just one.
I gotta get some keys.
Craig brought up the life jacket issue.
Sorry.
The only signage you probably ever want to put up will be life jackets recommended, be worn on our docks. You're not going to put up a sign that says life jackets required.
Right. Explain the legal difference between the one exposes you to more liability.
If life jackets are required and you don't enforce that, somebody falls off the dock and drowns, you're pretty much liable.
Somebody says, why didn't the port
Signs are
stuck
required
in?
for children under a certain age. I think that's
Recommended. Unattended.
unattended, yeah, maybe it's unattended, yeah.
Good point, John, thank you. I learned something. Wednesday isn't lost, I learned something. Good, excellent.
Yeah, it says unattended children under 13
Yeah, under 13, yeah.
Are required?
must wear, not
Must wear, it
required.
says, so, which, in other words, they're required, which
That's
is
something
something you
we need
don't
to
see, but
change.
then again, it says
We
about,
need to look at that
and it
language.
says the same thing about strollers and about baby buggies and all this stuff, and none of that's, bicycles, and that, none of that's in here too. And it's, again, you're back to the 25-man enforcement team wearing badges and guns, and,
But the life and death issue, we need to, as John pointed out, not the required, it's gotta be recommended.
Well, the baby stroller thing is we've seen horror stories. Where we are, we got the bull rail, and the people that let the stroller roll away, it hits the bull rail. Over on the rest of the docks in the harbor that don't have a bull rail, when they roll away, it's into the water, baby, and there you go. And it's,
Strap.
we watched it over at Amber's, this happens so many times, we've had to yell out, hey! And point at him, and there it rolls down the dock, and the lady runs down and gets her kid, and just ready to, it's just.
Well,
no
there's
strollers in
bicyclists,
the
I
dock.
watch bicyclists go down the ramp.
Yeah.
I watch one of these local guys over here, it says no motor vehicles, and he takes his little four-wheeler all the way up to the ramp right there to take his fish down there. And I don't wanna mention his name, everybody knows who it is.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, it's not only the kids, it's the adults. It's everybody, even the locals. So there you go.
Okay, next on the agenda, approval of the agenda. No problems, any changes?
I have no changes.
Craig, good?
Good.
Approval of minutes by consent.
Agreed.
No problems. Approval of financials by consent. We'll ask Kelly for his presentation.
Okay, so the bills paid for August was $104,519.11. And on the occupancy report, the campground is up a little bit from last year on the occupancy report, and the moorage is down, and I think it's because of the fishing. I know last year people were canceling because they heard that this year was gonna be bad, but I think it's just down because of the fishing.
But it's down, that's what we know.
Yeah, it's down,
It's gotta be because of the fishing.
yeah, I know it's gonna be because of the fishing, so. Yeah, it looks like
Tired of the grabber.
about 5%.
Crabbers.
Yeah, tired of the crabbers, yeah, okay.
Well, you're looking at 3%. No,
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
it's down 1% over last year.
So not a lot, but it is down, it's been down for the past few months. And you'll probably notice, on the financials in our general fund for payroll, you're gonna see that that's higher. That's because this month there's 3 payrolls in this month, but there's only gonna be 1 payroll in September. It evens itself out.
Some month you're gonna have 5.
I stand corrected on the mortgage, it's down 25%.
No, 5%.
5%,
5%.
5%. Okay.
So, that's all I have for the financials.
Any questions, Kelly?
Did you get the water bill figured out?
Yeah, they finally got back to me.
Finally figured out that they were,
They have it like an 8-inch main, and they were billing off of that when they should have been billing off of a 3-inch main, and they got it all figured out, so.
It's gonna be, what, $8,000?
$8,000 just for one of them. Yeah.
It's
Don't pay
savings.
this bill.
Okay, real good, thank you, Kelly. We'll move on to old business, commercial vessel definition. This is something, I think, we asked staff to come up with a definition. Am I correct?
Yeah,
Yeah.
so this is what we've come up with.
Okay.
So you wanted the historic taken out, Terry, and so we took out the first one under tab 6 is the resolution. The paper behind that was the original resolution.
Okay.
And you guys had said they wanted the historic taken out, so I took out, the historic.
Yep.
And then also people proving with fish tags or fish papers, whatever they call those, that,
Fish tickets,
tickets, there you go.
landing tickets.
Okay, with this here, we're just amending the original resolution.
Right.
So the 91918A is our new one.
Yes,
Correct.
that would
Right.
be the new.
Yeah, that's the one that I read it, yeah. We're getting rid of the historic.
And make the active commercial vessels
Have
show
it.
proof of
Yeah,
tickets to be able to get the commercial rate.
And if the vessel is inactive, they have to come in front of the commission.
Before the commission for
Right.
approval.
For approval.
That's a good point, Dave.
Yep.
Yeah, landing tickets, that's what it is.
I can't think of anything else to put in it. I mean, it's straightforward. I mean, if they want to be considered a commercial
Yeah.
fisherman and they're not active, they're gonna have to come before the board and explain, you know, to you guys why they should get the discount.
So we need a motion to act on this, don't we, President Terry?
Yeah, if we had a motion.
I would move Port of Siuslaw Resolution 9/1918A be adopted as presented.
I second it.
Been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I think, I'll call for the vote.
Aye.
Craig?
Aye? Aye.
Aye, passes unanimously. Good. Thank you, Dave. Thank you, Kelly.
That's a good move.
I think the historic vessel, I
Yeah,
mean,
the
that
historic
just,
vessel was really hard on it.
there's a lot of 100-year-old boats in Newport that'd probably like to move down here if they
Well,
could get.
I got the actual definition of what they classify a historic vessel as, and it's not anything.
To what we have.
50-year-old vessel. It's actually a historic vessel, so you guys can look over
What,
those.
something Long John Silver was on or something?
That's the actual definition of a historic vessel that they use right there.
But the only reason we're doing this is to keep boats like one we just got rid of from being here.
He was over 50 years old. He met a historic vessel.
He did at one time, yep, he did.
So, yeah.
And now he's up there with the concrete boat.
Dave had a name for that. What'd you call that?
I don't wanna say.
Do that.
It's a conglomeration of boats that have removed
The
themselves
cluster.
from our presence. Okay, we did pass the commercial vessel definition. Now we're gonna look at Commissioner Meyer for a PVIP loan, which he had helped with,
Mr. Craig Brandt. Craig Brandt and I and our real estate agent of record, help me out with the name,
Andy Johnson.
Andy Johnson, met with Wendy of the city. And thanks to Craig's suggestion about the possible ways that property can be developed, I learned some interesting things, and actually may make the property a little more valuable if it's presented to a potential buyer in this way. Remember, a couple of months back, I was saying, well, if we're gonna develop this property, we gotta provide all the roads, all the sewers, all the water. That turns out not to be true. There are ways to do it. And one of the methods that we've discussed, and Craig, you jump in here if I don't get all the details in there, but we can do for example, a potential buyer, and even the port, although I'm not suggesting this, can do what they call a minor land partition, and then we can do it yearly, which means we could take that 40 plus acres and we could divide two parcels, relatively small parcels, right near the access to our commercial property, and we could run or a buyer could do 50 feet of road or whatever it took to get access to those two, provide sewer and water and power to just those two, and those two lots could be sold. And then next year you could do a minor land partition again and generate 3 lots, which could be 2 reasonably sized commercial lots that are just an extension of the 2 lots somebody had created the year before. And that process could be staged right down the line. So the property does not represent an extremely high price of admission to develop it. I don't know that it's been presented to, of course, we haven't had a lot of people knocking on the door, but Andy was there, took all that in, and the important part of having Andy there is that if he gets a serious buyer, and that serious buyer is looking at, well, it's going to take me $2 million to put in all the roads and all the sewer. It doesn't have to happen that way. It can be done incrementally. In fact, when you did your 3 partitions, you could literally just sell off 1 lot, and that 1 lot could be developed, and then that other smaller lot could be in holding for another buyer. But again, the price of admission to develop it is much less than I thought, which to me makes the property a little more valuable.
When you do you may not have this answer, but when you do, does it change the zoning? Can we?
Oh, we don't get to modify the zoning.
Okay, we don't get to modify the zoning, but we can do a minor
Yeah,
partition.
Yeah.
But and Wendy said that you can, and Andy was there, it said you can mark that as 40 acres that are subdividable instead of 40 piece.
Yeah.
And hopefully he did that. I see some new flyers on rhododendron now. And that was my main concern is, and with the shovel ready stays with that piece of property no matter what happens. And
Whether we partition it or not.
right,
Okay.
whoever buys it, and the shovel ready, which I didn't understand what it was, and I think Wendy was, it's a 40-page report that somebody had to put out one time that makes that aquaculture, what means that they can draw out of that river and raise shrimp.
If they needed salt water.
Yeah, so I mean, but it stays with that piece of property.
The shovel ready
The
does.
shovel ready
It's good
does.
information, because we've had a question on that.
Yeah, the shovel ready stays with that piece of property, and I mean, he can market that as 5-acre lots, 10-acre, but it's developable. But everything's 100-foot setback, that's the worst part. On the
Yeah.
backs.
And there's certain issues relative to height because of the airport, but I think looking at the topography, we're probably.
She was gonna get us, in some of that stuff, you know, we're on a high hill. She said a lot of that sewer will run down the rhododendron, and the other stuff can run down, your sewer line won't have to be 50-foot deep, because the rhododendron's got sewer, it can run down. And this way, she was gonna give us a topo, but I don't think we ever got it from her.
Well, I
She's
didn't.
pretty
We didn't.
busy,
fo-
we didn't.
yeah.
It's either that or you'd have to pump it up to
Right, yeah.
34th.
But she said, no, it is drainable down into rhododendron. And another thing she was saying, I mean, this,
Keep going.
is, rhododendron's gonna be widened. And the city, Mike Miller is gonna have to, the city are gonna have to buy some easement there from us to widen Rhodey. So, I mean, we need to pursue that too. And then, the city, she said the city might, and I think Bill hasn't had a chance to get to talk to Aaron, the city might be interested in even maybe purchasing
Yeah.
the property.
Yeah.
Time for that.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, we're all for that.
yeah, and we haven't had a chance to follow up, but,
Yeah, it was a
and-
pretty interesting meeting, but, yeah.
And that's actually an additional charge that I would like to present to President Terry, because Craig and I'm gonna volunteer you, Craig, back off you. What we would like to follow up, this discussion you just had with the commission's permission, is a discussion with the city about, and here, essentially, this is the pitch that we made to Wendy at the time. Right now, Port controls that property. We have the opportunity, if the city is at all interested, before another buyer jumps in, if the city has plans that, where they could utilize that property, then what we would like to do, Craig and I, is just test the waters, see if the city is at all interested in purchasing the property from the port for future development.
I agree.
Yep.
Craig? Yeah.
I don't see why we wouldn't do that.
No, I mean,
Okay.
you can stand on the corner and talk to everybody that comes to
Yeah.
Ford's and
Well,
try to sell it to them.
You know me,
We'll pay you a
Well,
I don't,
He won't do anything.
I want to stay within the borders, and I like the formal process. Because the original charge that we agreed to do, and we followed up, is to meet with Wendy.
And it is subdividable.
Yes, and my impression is that property is more valuable than I had originally said, because I was thinking of, and somebody had to go in there and just spend a fortune to even get the first lot, and that's not true. So,
But she was, and we sat in there with Andy was in there too.
Yep.
And she was pretty interested, she's even scratching on there and says, oh, you could probably get 8 lots out of that. You know, I mean, she understands because the city owned everything, you know, with the hydraulic place and the other place, what is that, communication place? See, they don't have any property, so, I mean, she's wanting maybe a little control, but she said that'd be up to Aaron.
yeah, Wendy's not gonna, we're gonna, if we can take a meeting, it'll be with Erin and her staff. That's the proposal.
Well, good. I'm glad you made the contact with Wendy and,
Yeah.
I think it was very worthwhile.
well, what's more important to me to come out of that is Andy now realizes that it's
Yeah.
subdivided.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was the main thing. And I see you got
Subdividable.
new flyers in there on that.
In a way that doesn't break the bank of a
Right.
buyer. I mean, they can do a chunk at a time.
Good job.
Yeah.
Good. It's good news.
That's the
And
report.
I think, Bill, I can't speak for Mr. Buckwald, but I'm sure he wouldn't disagree that if you're willing to spend your time and talk with Aaron Reynolds, or Wendy.
As long as I partner with Craig, because he keeps me honest. And besides that, he has good ideas.
He keeps you
Keep you
straight.
from over talking yourself.
Good job.
Exactly. You picked it up real well.
Manager and commissioner reports. Dave, do you have anything as a manager to report?
Just, we're moving forward on the dredging project. We've had to find a few things that have been in the files here that are kind of hard to find. Everything's paper filed, and so we've found a sediment analysis. We have eelgrass has been mitigated in the past. I think in 2008. We don't know that we might have to do another little mitigation on some eelgrass or just stay away from that area. But we're moving forward to the point that we're almost ready to put out an RFQ
On the dredging.
on the dredging. Yeah.
Do you have an RFQ out on the CRO yet?
Not yet. CRO, we should be starting to actually get our money probably sometime towards mid to late October, and we're right in the process of getting ready to put out an RFQ for the CRO too. So
Do you know what his period of performance is? Have you talked to him?
Yeah, I have talked to Guy, so.
Is it gonna be a winter project?
We're planning on it to be a winter project right now at this point.
Well, I think that's our best value. You can work year-round in the sand. We're trying to get a contractor now, you know you never would, so,
Yeah. I'm
So,
still
starting about November, December.
yeah.
working on
First of the
getting a sit-down scheduled soon with Dave Harlan from Business Oregon, where we can knock out a draft for the IGA. We have to have our IGA in place to access the strategic planning grant money. And so I think we've sent you guys out the IGA agreement
Intergovernment.
month ago or so. But we need to get that signed.
I have no problem moving on.
I'm not sure why we haven't moved on it.
Yeah, nobody had,
I think we just need to
didn't
bring
put
it up to the
We
commission.
didn't put it on the agenda, I don't think, but.
If it's time critical, we could add it to the agenda at the special meeting and act
Okay.
on it, as long as it's noticed properly.
Okay, because the IGA is we'll base it on our current strategic business plan, and we can easily amend that, but we need to have that IGA
in place.
so,
And that's with Business Oregon.
yeah.
And they're gonna help you do that.
Yep, and we can amend that, for when we're working on our next strategic plan, how we prioritize it, we can amend the IGA easily, so.
I think we could act on that pretty quickly for the
Okay.
Terry at our next meeting.
I don't see any reason.
And then,
I
yeah.
thought we had already,
No, we talked about it being a good idea, but the process never got
Yeah.
completed, so let's, yeah.
okay, well, at the special meeting, we can take care of that.
Okay,
When is the special meeting gonna be? Did we ever set the date?
2 Wednesdays.
2 weeks from today.
26th. No,
It's like the fifth.
Oh, no, don't you guys have a meeting someplace? Somebody going to a conference?
the 3rd.
The third?
I'm gone the third. I'm at continuing ed for 3 days. in
But
Portland.
didn't I see something on,
I could do it
on the
Monday.
port thing too? For somebody,
Yeah, there is
there's something there.
well, I was gonna bring that up, there's
Have you been to your orientation already? Both of you guys?
Say what?
Your orientation?
there's an OPPA conference.
Yeah, that's what it is.
That's the 4th and 5th of October.
And the fourth, I'm not available the fourth, so. We got an OCA, Oregon Coast Angler thing.
What are the days?
That's the only thing that's doing is that special meeting, that's over.
Well, I
Or
can,
maybe they do it.
I don't know about the other commission, but I can make them, I just want to avoid Friday. Friday is just kind of a special
We
day.
could,
for
we
me.
could do it on the 10th.
How about the
following
2nd?
Wednesday.
Yeah.
Or is that not enough?
I'm gone the second, third, and fourth.
Why not do it on
Okay.
the
I can do
1st?
it Monday.
Monday works for me.
Monday would be good for me. I'd like to be there for that.
Oh, yeah, we want you, yeah. Would we have, would that give us enough time to
To
properly
notice it?
notice?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, okay.
So you want Monday,
Monday the
First.
1st.
Monday the 1st
Of October.
at 6?
Here.
Yeah.
Here. Yeah, not
that's good.
Mapleton.
That's good.
Because then our next, yeah, then Mapleton will just be a regular meeting then.
Yeah.
But at 6 o'clock, right?
6?
6 works, 6 or 7, either one.
Yeah, we show up when we want anyway.
Oh, one of us do.
6
Six.
o'clock?
Kelly, we're gonna have 2 agenda items, I wanna make sure. We're gonna have the
Crabbing.
crabbing.
And the IGA.
Yes, I just wanted to make sure that didn't,
Because let's just get the IGA in place and we'll be able to amend it
yeah.
Later.
And I would think that we could do the IGA first, because we can, President Terry can get it moved right
It'll
on
move
up.
right along.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Now, October 4th and 5th, there is an OPPA conference in Coos Bay. Does anybody want to attend?
I
I know
can't.
me and Kelly have a meeting.
I would love to, but I'm in the middle of my building project. I'm trying to beat the weather, so
Okay.
I'm not going anywhere for a while. I'd love to, but I'm not.
I'll be at OCA down in Winchester Bay. Do we have to go? Does somebody have to go?
No, you don't have to go, but I have prior commitment with LCOG to work on something. Me and Kelly have a meeting, so.
But
I
I've
was gonna
got,
say we could send
I'm-
Kelly.
yeah.
I got a meeting too.
You don't wanna go.
Gotta
Keep
be-
going with it.
Jeez.
But I've got a question about, Craig and Craig. Did you get a notice on an orientation meeting for, new commissioners? Oh, or is it that they don't do it, what, they do it every?
When it's available.
Okay, and they probably only, since you guys were special,
No, nothing, it won't be till the next election.
okay, clarification.
Key word.
Yes,
What's that?
Special was the key word.
yes, yes.
Special election,
Okay,
because we're special people.
all right, well,
We ride a
well, by the
special
time
bus.
the next one comes up, you guys won't need to go because you'll know all the ropes. I mean, you're,
Well, I probably won't
You
even be
looked over
here.
the disc.
oh.
yeah.
Have you
missing
had
all
a
of
chance
them.
to do the disc, both of you? Have you done the disc?
I think he did. I
I
haven't
did.
done the disc yet.
That's all, you do that and you're going.
I've actually seen her speak.
Well, you would if you went to the meeting too, I think. The one
Well,
in
you
the
know what
disc is.
disc is.
CIS.
Yeah, but did they mention a former commissioner of this illustrious port in your meeting?
No.
Oh, okay, that's enough said.
I think it's in the, it's
Is
in the
it?
video.
Okay, good, all right.
Okay,
The examples?
let's keep on.
Oh,
Yes.
yes, yeah, let's, sorry, I got off.
David, any other reports?
No.
You have a barbecue.
Oh, yeah, we do have a public, well, it's a customer appreciation barbecue, which will be Friday. And so from 5 to 8, if any of the commissioners want to attend, you're welcome.
And I have gone to them before, they're a lot of fun.
I think if I get around to it, I might do it.
Are you gonna be cooking burgers in?
Yep.
Oh, are you going to be cooking?
Yeah, I am.
Good man.
We got any crab? You want me to get crab?
No, we got hamburgers and hot dogs and chicken and soda pop
You
and.
think we could serve tuna?
Yeah,
It should be a-
if somebody hadn't given away all of Dave's tuna, we could,
They can't even find the tuna now.
oh, really?
I did have a chance to go up and visit with our boat up in Newport, and they made their last tuna trip. And he said they threw 100 immature peanuts so back.
That's what I heard, little ones.
Just
What's
little,
catching up there.
and I did get some fish off the boat, and I took it down to Winchester, and it was quite interesting, because the guy said, "Where'd you get these out?" I said, "Oh, the boat's in Newport." He said, "These are bigger than what we've been seeing." So it must be really small fish.
They are. 'Cause I've been buying off one out of Winchester, and he went out there and he said, man, he said he threw them all away.
Yeah.
They're too small.
Well, like,
No one wants
they're
to
like
process
mackerel,
Yeah.
Well, yeah, they start getting down there.
bonita size.
Yeah. So, anyway, I thought it was interesting. Generally, this time of year, David, don't we have a larger tuna?
Generally,
Usually.
Start coming in with what they call the suitcases.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see all the damn little, Chinook they're catching out here.
Bill, do you have anything you'd like to add?
I do not.
Monday.
We made our report, and I've got nothing to add.
John?
Don't know if you guys seen, but at our last city planning commission, we approved a new city park on the piece of ground that the city got from you folks.
Oh, really?
And the park will have boat access,
Where'd that one at?
west of the city sewer plant.
paddle.
Oh, that's the one where.
Now you gotta bring your
About-
power boat up, and they'll have a big tie-up for you to tie up to if you wanted to go there.
They have a
They
big
use,
parking spot.
Cool. Really?
Very good. Thanks,
the
John.
covered gazebo there, a small one.
Yeah, west of the sewer treatment plant.
You got room for a crabbing dog?
Yeah.
You built a long one, maybe.
Yeah.
That'd be
I
real.
didn't know if you guys knew that or not.
No, I didn't. That's good information. That's something we need to look into here too, Dave, is some crabbing dock. What can we do?
Yeah, we need to see if there's any kind of support for that from other agencies that might be able to help fund it.
That's not a bad thought. Look for the money. With that being said, I'm going to adjourn the meeting. Any complaints? Meeting adjourned.
No complaints on my part. But it
Yeah.
is a day.
Mike?
Good job.
When are, oh, I should have brought that up, when are we gonna do the refund?